Hey there, this is Sherpa from featherprop.com, and I'm out here in the woods to bring you a video about water filters. Now, if you spend any amount of time in the woods or out in the mountains, you have to be concerned about hydrating yourself. You've got to keep yourself hydrated. You've got to drink plenty of water, plenty of fluids while you're out here. You might be walking along the woods, you see a cool mountain spring, and it might be real tempting to just stick your cup in there and to take a drink. And in some cases, you're going to be okay. But you can never tell just by looking at the water. So, of course, you've got to be able to make the water resources that you find in the woods potable. You got to be able to drink this. Now, there are several methods by which people do this. One, of course, is to boil your water. This assumes you have a fire or a stove and a container that can sustain the heat for at least 5 minutes to boil water. It kills everything in the water and you can drink it. That's a good way. The downsides, of course, is you have to wait several minutes at least till it cools down enough that you can drink the water. And boiling the water doesn't remove the sediment. So when you're done, any kind of sand or dirt that's in the water is still there and is going to be in your teeth, I suppose. So, but that's a way you can boil your water. Another method is to use the SteriPens, the ultraviolet light, to put in the water. It kills the water and is very effective. The downside of that, of course, is the water's not filtered. So any sediment that's in your water is still in your water. A third method that's used by a lot of people is the iodine tablets. They come in a small little bottle. You throw them in let's say a liter of water, and it kills everything. The downside of that is the taste. At least some people don't like the taste. The upside is the tablets are really small. You can take them with you. You can carry them. They're very light. Of course, they don't recommend that you use these tablets for an extended length of time. So if you're going to be out for several weeks on end, you don't want to continually be using those tablets to sterilize your water. The other method that I want to talk about today is water filters. And I have two water filters here. They're the water filters that I use. I want to show them to you a little bit and just talk about water filters. Now, what I have here today are two filters with me. The first is my MSR Miniworks. This filter has been with me for just about 20 years. This is a real workhorse of a filter. I've been backpacking with this for a long time. I've carried it over a lot of miles and have pumped a lot of water through it. This is a very reliable water filter made by MSR. And it's a filter that is really good because it's completely serviceable. By that I mean that if you're out in the field and you have, let's say, a clog or something like that, you can easily open up the filter, pop it out, clean it up if there's a clog on the filter, and put it right back in. They send a little like a scrub pad that allows you to clean the filter with it. Put the filter back in, screw everything back on. You need no special tools to serve this filter. You can also pop the pin out of it, get to the O-rings that are inside the chamber there, and replace those or maybe lube them up if you have to in the field. So again, completely serviceable water filter and a great one to have out in the woods. And one of the advantages with the MSR filter is it can screw onto an Nalgene bottle very easily, and so it doesn't make it hands-free, but it's very easy to operate. You take the business end of the hose, drop that in the water, set the float to how deep you want the hose to go, whether you want to just take the water off the top or take the water deeper, and then you use this grease gun styled pump and you pump the water into the bottle. Now, anybody who has this knows that they can be notoriously slow. I think they're rated at 1 liter per minute. I think that's a generous rating because I think it's a little slower than that, but that's what it's rated as. This filter, I think an MSR does make a newer, updated one, and perhaps it does pump a little bit faster. But this old filter does pump rather slowly, but it is extremely reliable, and it's great to have out in the woods. Okay, to use the MSR, very simple again. You set your depth to how deep you want it to go into the water. You drop your hose into the water. You can see that down there. And then you simply just pump the handle. Now you can see the water coming into the chamber here, filling the chamber, and by pressing it on, squeeze in the lever, it pushes water through the filter and begins to fill your Nalgene bottle, or you can just run a hose directly from the bottom of this into any kind of hose that you want, or any kind of bottle that you want to fill. So the pumping mechanisms is a little stiff. I believe the Katahdin hikers are easier to pump, but this gets the job done just as well. I'm not going to fill the whole bottle. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's pretty clean water in there, and pretty clear water. It does a great job and tastes very good. The other filter that I want to talk about is the Sawyer Mini Squeeze filter. This filter is, as you can probably tell, extremely light. This filter in its stuff sack with the tube weighs at about 17 ounces, so it's just a little over a pound. The filter itself weighs probably 2 ounces. My whole kit that I carry with it, which I'm going to show you, weighs about 4 ounces. So about a quarter of the weight this filter weighs. So it's an extremely light filter to take out in the woods, something that's very easy, something that's easy to carry and easy to use. The Sawyer Squeeze comes with a bladder. You can get these in different sizes. I think this is 16 ounce, something like that. Relatively small bladder. To use it, you just simply screw the bladder into the filter. This, of course, contains your unfiltered water. Usually turn it upside down, you roll the water through, and your clean water comes out this end. And I'll demonstrate that for you here as well. It comes with a syringe to help back flush it. You probably will get clogs in this filter, so by using the syringe you can back flush it, get any kind of clogs out, and that comes with it, and you should carry that in the field with you when you're out and about. I've upgraded it a little bit by pulling my old platypus leader bag off my shelf and putting it back into service. I had retired this some time ago, and the reason why is I can fill the water, I can put the water in the bag, and it has the same style, the same size end on it that screws right into the Sawyer, so it gives me a little bit bigger bag to work with, and it's easier to fill than the bag they provide. I also carry a cup, just an old drinking bottle that I've cut the top off, and I'll show you what that's about here in a moment. All right, with the Sawyer Squeeze, there's a couple of ways to fill these bags. One was to take just an ordinary drinking bottle, cut the top off, dip that into your water source, and pour that water into the bladder, and that's an easy way to fill it. Or you can submerge this bag in the water if you'd like, hold it in the stream and fill it that way. All right, after you get your bladder filled with water, you take your filter, and you can see it actually has the flow marked, so there should be no mistaking which end gets screwed into it. Actually, this has no threads, so you shouldn't be able to make the mistake. You just turn this on like this, turn it upside down, and by squeezing the bag, you can see your clean water comes out. Now, some people have complained that these bags have torn. I don't know why they would, unless you get down on it too hard. I think you just use some common sense, squeeze kind of gently, but enough to force the water through, and as you can see, the water comes out at a pretty good flow. So this is a great little lightweight filter to carry with you. Just a word of caution about the Sawyer Squeeze. It's a great filter, very light, very portable, easy to use. The potential problem that I see with this filter is there is a risk of cross-contamination. And if I can just look over the shoulders of some of the seasoned backpackers and hikers and talk to the newbies in the back row, allow me to do that. Cross-contamination occurs when your untreated, unfiltered water comes in contact with now your filtered water. When this occurs, even a drop or so of contaminated water will contaminate your entire source. With the Sawyer, or your entire bottled water. With the Sawyer Squeeze, I see a possible risk of this happening, or at least greater risk than, say, the MSR. The reason why is a lot of people take this bag and they'll immerse it into the water to fill the bag up, which is very easy to do. In so doing, your hands get wet, and so does the outside of the bag. Then when you turn the bag upside down and begin to squeeze water out of it, it's very easy for the water to run off the bag or on off your hands and right back into the bottle that you're filling. It's possible And with this Sawyer Squeeze, I believe the potential is there because your hands and the outside of the bag are getting wet. With the MSR, this is not really a risk in my opinion, or at least not a significant one, because you're dropping the hose in your water source and pumping it into the bottom of the bottle or at least into another bottle. You're not really coming in contact with the unfiltered water, at least you shouldn't be. And so this, I believe, is a little less risky in terms of cross-contamination. Great filter, very light, very easy, very portable, very easy to use, very portable to take with you. Just be careful with cross-contamination. Wash your hands after use, making sure your hands are clean, especially if your water source is questionable. The MSR Miniworks, heavier, very easy to maintain, but also a great filter. This one has served me very well. I've used both of these in the field, and I recommend both of them. Just depending on what your use is, depending on what you're going to use them for. My Sawyer pack typically consists of mesh screen, the filter itself, the syringe for back flushing, a water bottle for pouring water in, and I'll probably take my old platypus bag because it just holds more water and I can fill it from behind. But that's the complete kit that I would take with me when I'm using the Sawyer. My MSR kit consists of the filter itself. The hose is always with it. The mesh sack. There's the cap, the bottom of the cap that goes in the bottom of the filter. The little cleaning pad to clean the bottom, to clean the filter up in case it gets clogged. And of course, I carry my Nalgene bottle to make it easier to put on that. So that's the MSR Miniworks kit. All right, so that's it. Thanks for watching the video. Give it a thumbs up, like it, share it, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the woods.